welcome to February's Founders Deep Dive. For those not familiar with this part of Authentic Ambitions, this is where Ty and I look back on last month's Spotlight feature, introduce you to this month's incredible guest, and deep dive into a topic that gets to the heart of the journey behind the brand, often for us personally. Before we jump in, though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected because here we share it all, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. To start off, I'm Starah Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, your marketplace destination for artisan crafted home decor. Not only can you purchase beautiful pieces with us, but you also get to, get to know about the artisan behind the brand. So, on to you, Ty.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tysheda. I am known as your signature global experiences architect. I help purpose-driven visionaries transform their gifts into unforgettable brands, events, and elevated travel experiences worldwide. Whether you're building a business, creating a movement, or planning your next luxurious escape, I'm here to help to design it with intention, impact, and style. So, for those who hopefully you're coming back, or if you missed it, last month we had an incredible feature from Jamie Hunt. She is an amazing founder. She's built an amazing brand. She is truly the definition of hands on. She has a small team that works with her, but she is hands on in her product and the service and making sure that every part of it meets exactly what she's going for. We also did actually a special feature, which it was actually one that we're hoping to do more of in the future, that we were actually able to experience her product. So definitely, if you didn't catch her feature or the recap from our product and our feedback, definitely make sure the replays are up and you don't want to miss them. But definitely the one thing I want to pinpoint is her personality is so touching. It matches the support. If you see it in our, not the main feature, but the one that we did, I actually go into a customer service experience that we had with her, which honestly was mind blown the amount and how fast she like kind of jumped in to help us and also to make sure that the problem was solved without any worry. So definitely it really speaks to her brand, who she is, what she's created. And honestly, we've interviewed and we've spoken with hundreds of thousands of people. And her particular brand is one very unique. And it's not many that are out there that also has the touches that she has with it. So definitely, you definitely want to catch it. Start with your thoughts.
Yeah, I enjoyed speaking with her and also trying out her products for sure. So, one of the things that I really did like is getting into conversation with her about the Amaro world and what that actually is, what it entails. And also, something that I thought was really cool about what she does is creates these very not personalized brands per se, but these concoctions of things that you would not think would go together, but actually taste delicious once you have it. And again, hands down, not only to like the customer service that we've received with her, but also for her team, because they've always been on point, whether we're speaking about authentic ambitions or if we're just like, talking shop, like they are all on point. It also created a reason for us to even visit Seattle and to see like her in the, in her process of like making her products. So definitely tune into that. But this month, and again, like we really do get to talk to a lot of founders that are pretty much incredible people. So that goes without saying that this month on Authentic Ambitions, we're sitting down with Gwen Gardner, who is the founder of Simply Chicky Clothing, for a founder deep dive rooted in purpose, creativity, and conscious brand building. As always, today's topic is especially meaningful, sparked directly by our conversation with Gwen, and a reminder that every founder is inspired by something deeply personal. So, this is one of the conversations that stays with you. And Gwen's Spotlight is going to air Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. I'm still in the mindset of saying 2025. Anyway, at 4 p.m. EST. So, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss when this drops.
Yes, definitely don't want to miss it. And it's really nice because her brand is something that obviously they have their kids clothing line. Also, she has their current and adding to their adult clothing line. Well, I already spilled the beans,
I know.
so and but also too with that is it's really important that is also what people wear. as well is very important. Not only what you put in your body, but also what you have on your body. So definitely you don't want to catch it. We go into all of it. And it's something definitely that whether you have kids, adults, even just teenagers to know being more aware of it is something that a lot of people don't know, but definitely the conversation is going to be one you don't want to miss.
And also just wanted to add in that like she is looking to definitely establish herself as the queen of joy, and through the clothing like she's really able to do that. So check out her business if you have not yet, and definitely check out our spotlight.
Yes, exactly. So, as we're in February, we're so excited to bring to you our next Founders Deep Dive. And this one is something that I think I also a lot of times it gets like it gets lost in the midst of everything and
Mhm.
with it. But so often success is measured by matrix that don't actually feel like it don't actually reflect who we are and what matters the most. In this Founders Deep Dive, we're unpacking what stress truly looks like on your terms, not just in business, but in life. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Star, what are your thoughts in terms of what does success look like to you? Is it measured by maybe a metric of sorts, or is it measured by something that you feel? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I would say I've always been a quality of life person where I've talked about it before, where I enjoy romanticizing my life. Like, if I can do it, listen, we're over there. So, whether it be like through the way that I articulate myself and like via my home or like different places that I can go visit and things like that. So, I would say that I would really go towards quality of life. And I've been able to decide also like what success means to me both on a personal and a business level. So I would say, like, for example, and I have my little notes here because I really wanted to like get to the root of everything. So, like, I'd say that personally, for me, it's finding time to do the things that I love. So that includes spending time with family and friends, being able to hike, being able to get through reading a book without like as much interruption outside of like, the household kind of thing. And also just like bothering people that I care about. So that's one. I definitely always want to make sure that, especially in this ever turning world of like technology, just being able to always be present. So knowing that I have the time, that like establishing a time to basically put down my technology, put down like even the emails, responding to people because I know that someone else may have it, or everyone understands by this time that like my business hours are from X to X. And if I choose to just want to like assist, no problem. I would say another thing would be, because I was going to say bothering my friends, but taking in like progress and enjoy it without rushing to the next goal. So again, about like intentionality of being able to say like, man, like I already like achieved this goal, like, and this is what that means to me, and being able to sit in it and enjoy it before going towards the next one. And then when I go towards business, especially when it comes to a company like Mitsu's, one of the biggest things that would mean success to me for real would be being able to get my artisans and artists to not have to deal with the whole like starving artists like trope thing, where it's like, no, I'm creating like different ecosystems where you can not only work like with Mitsu's, but also like expand your brand, like expand your reach. And to the point that we become just a supplement and not the like main all and be all kind of thing. So that's why I've been like trying to shift over into like getting these artists and artisans to also tell their story, especially. And one of the ways that I started to do that was actually going through TikToks and going through people's TikTok lives. Invasive as hell, but here I am because I would ask them questions like, like what got you into this, finding out like different people, it's like family ingrained things that they've always been doing that were just passed on, and the person enjoys doing what they're doing, which is why it keeps going. I would also say that something else would be the ability to comfortably just say no to not doing certain things, like, and just being able to just literally like say the most powerful statement of no, like, and being able to like really pick and choose where I want to align. And also business wise, I can't wait to the get to the part where I fully am able to delegate like my tasks off to someone else, which would mean that I'm able to like communicate my vision clearly, like immediately, like the person gets it. I clearly would have all of my documents written down so that I can pass it along, so that I can have as few questions as possible, so that I can go back into the personal goals that I have. And last but not least, that's a lie. There's a lot. But success for me will be when I'm able to articulate my brand in a way that the people that are going to connect with it, easily find it, and easily like join the community that is Mitsu's and or any other brand that I also like decide to offshoot. So those would be my levels of success, I would say.
Yeah, I like that though. And you've actually touched on a lot of good things with it as well, especially, and I'll start with business since that's what you ended off to kind of, and for me, yes, level of success for me for business is definitely eventually getting there to my business where I can be hands-on when needed, but not 24/7. So that I have it like, having a team, but having it where like they know who I serve, they know why we serve it, and they do it with the same quality that I do it. Because then it's kind of where, again, you have that happy balance between the two where
Mm-hmm.
you can be there when they need you, you can be in your business, but also you do have that personal aspect at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. That's very important. For my business is also keeping the customer service quality behind it in terms of the intentionality, meaning that no matter how much we expand, how many, whatever team staff that we have on, making sure that the service doesn't change. So what they're good at is no sense of them spending 2 weeks doing something that my team can do in 2 days. And they could have spent that time doing literally what's best for their clients and enhancing their experience at the same time. In terms of personal life, success for me looks like having definitely self-care time in terms
Mm-hmm.
of prioritizing time where it's like everything shut off, like, whether it's watching a movie or even going out and doing things where it's disconnected from the world, not always being on, but also being able to, shut off when needed. So that, again, just like you said, being present is everything because it also makes you feel better too, because it doesn't feel like you're sitting somewhere, but your brain is split in two separate directions. It's like you're there, but also at the same time, you're like, "Ooh, I'm responding to this email." And then again, one email leads to two emails, then it leads to someone else who has a problem. So it's like one of those things where you can take, oh, it's just something simple. And before you realize it, hours passed and you're there, but are you really there? Are you really
Mm-hmm.
disconnecting? Are you really being able to kind of like reset so that you can actually come back to work as your better self? That's what it comes down to.
And I feel too that like a lot of times because everyone, well, the consensus is to always have like people be busy. I find that a lot of people don't actually enjoy their life. Like it's like you're here, but like it's like, but there is a difference with like being able to like enjoy it, like for the highs and the lows. And even when the lows, it's like you definitely don't want it at the time. Let's be very clear. But like you're still kind of like I was at least like able to like partake inside of it.
Yeah.
And something too, like when you were talking about like customers, definitely like when it comes to that, because you want to always make sure that they feel cared for. I think that because like for me being two-sided, I'm like, well, I look at it in terms of if I take care of my artists, they're going to take care of my people, like the customers, which keeps that circle going around. But like I did want to add that one of the things that I do want to have happen is for that discussion to come back of like knowing who is the person behind like all of this work, because it's easy for, and just as you were saying too, like where it's easy for people to take for granted just like the final results without understanding like no, like there was a lot that went through with it. And I mean,
Hello.
right, like we're able to also like give different peaks into different genres of like businesses like through authentic ambitions. And I feel like it is one of those things too where like we just really, because we're founders and we've done this game for such a time, like we're able to understand that no, like just because you see like the end results does not mean that it did not take a lot to get here, and success wasn't a linear line. It ebbed and flowed, and this is how we got to like where we are. So
Exactly, yes.
yeah.
And what I've learned over the course of the past year is that small wins are everything because
Yep.
small wins help when the big problems happen. You know that you did something that other people like sometimes I'll say that, oh yeah, I was featured here, and they're like, wait, what? They was like, wait, I didn't. You just and it's not. And honestly, when I'm so like honored and I'm so excited, and even when it comes to the different achievements that we have, even in my
Mhm.
business and that we have with Authentic Ambitions, but I'm like ecstatic and I'm excited. But what I learned was is as I started showing up as the stuff that I had that's even was the small wins, and I don't even want to say small wins because actually no win is really bigger. It's literally a win is a win. And that's what I've learned because from that, I've gotten so many people who was like, oh my God, like it's just remarkable. Like, please let me know, like, how, what you did, like, how, all this other stuff. And it starts to spark a lot of interest with other people who kind of were in that in between. And they're like, but do I really have something to offer? Like, am I good enough? Things of that manner. And they're like, and when they see it, and then when they also meet me, they're like, oh my God, like, like it's like such an honor and it goes back to what we said I think a few months ago is you never know who's watching, you never know who's looking at you, you never know who's being touched by something just because you don't have a like or a comment or a follow. People are watching, and I've seen that way more times than I even thought to imagine. So it's one of those things where yes, you're doing it for yourself, but you're also doing it for people who have dreams and haven't. They may not have the support, they may not have the community, and they may
Very
also not
true.
have the knowledge. And when they see it, they're like, wow. They're like, oh my God, that's amazing. I want to know more, or oh my God, this may spark it for them to want to do it too. So sometimes it's even bigger than yourself. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's other people that can see you, and that's what taught me so much. Where it's definitely like it's showing what you have, but it's also showing that other people can do it. And it takes work and it takes motivation. But if you have the will, you have the passion, and you have your why behind it, you can really get there.
Right. And I definitely do believe in exactly as you're saying, where it's kind of like no matter which way you do it, because like people do like announce how they, like their successes in different ways. And yeah, like it is funny where you see somebody's eyes brighten up whenever you're able to say like, oh, I did X, Y, and Z. And they're like, what? Like, but I would definitely say it to like go with what you were saying. One of the most important parts is being able to be proud of yourself. That's why like one of the things is like being able to be proud of yourself in the moment, and also finding the way that you do want to like express yourself, but like making sure to do that, because I do think that with the hustle and bustle of life, like it is easy to just overlook anything that you do and think chuck it to the game and just be like, yeah, everybody does it. Meanwhile, like it's somebody else's lifeline. And as you were saying, a lot of people are usually inspired by what they see, and also just like the stories that they hear, because people don't usually talk about like everything that they're going through. So there's a lot of humility in the fact that, like there, for example, as you were saying too, like there are parts where you don't talk about it all the time, but at the same time, you already know you're cocky as hell. So like you do, and you always do whenever like the situation presents itself. So it's not like you're always like downplaying yourself. Like you do present it. So just want to make sure that we clarify that. You know what I'm saying?
And one thing that I also was kind of thinking in terms of it too is, have you ever, okay, I'm trying to see if I can word it right. Have
Mhm.
you ever achieved something that looked like success on paper, but didn't feel aligned inside?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like, but that's also goes back to like the times that like I've downplayed certain things too, because like for me, it's like, that's nothing. But when talking to somebody, it's like, oh, wait, this is dope. And it's just like, okay. Like, and it kind of like snaps you back. But I don't know if I get back inside of the mind of like, no, that really is actually, or if I just
Yeah.
go into like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm happy to hear that. So I don't know. On a more general thing that I can think of, like there was this one time, and like this proves the point that you were just saying, but like there was this one time that, as you know, like my hubs basically like finished a program, blah blah blah. Long story short is that there was a whole like situation where every one of the founders that finished the program had to like announce their businesses. When I tell you, okay, so this one girl comes up and she's like, the way that she marketed was beautiful. Like where she was like, oh, and now my company is in partnership with Klarna and blah blah blah. And you see everybody clapping, and I was like, man, because like I also like with Mitsu's like I was like, wait a second, I know the process of it, and so like I didn't think of anything about it. And everybody's over here clapping about that situation. And it snapped me back inside of that mentality of that's because you downplayed your own win. Like, because yes, like it's still an application process, you know, because
Yes.
like technically your business could be a whole gambling site, like, or something like that,
Yeah.
and they could deny you. But it was just really cool. Like, and I will always remember that to see how like she framed it and rightfully so, like rightfully earned. But I was like, I didn't even think about like how, you
Hmm.
know, I could have framed that. But yeah, how about
Exactly.
for you though?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I guess I would probably bring it back. So I'll probably go a little bit back. So I'll probably bring it back to, for me, definitely success has changed from when I was younger, even probably when I was more of like a younger adult-ish, to now. And I think it definitely kind of tweaks your mind and it tweaks your vision based off of what you've learned, what you've experienced, but also some of the roadblocks that you've achieved. Because sometimes I feel like a lot of times when like in the beginning or your success is very big dreams and big dreams are great.
Yeah.
They're amazing and they're everything. The problem what happens is when you hit problem or roadblock or you get stuck, it's hard to see that big dream because you're hitting this really
Small.
small problem, but it seems like a very big one at the time.
Yeah.
And it makes it so hard to be like, I can't get there. Like, how am I supposed to get there? X, Y, and Z. And I think that's why it kind of ties back into where when you have to take advantage of those wins when they come, and no matter how shaped, no matter form, that even comes with even you having a review from an amazing client that you
Right.
did a great,
And
like it
using
it,
it.
it it doesn't have to come in this big lavish thing. It can be as something as simple as someone saying, oh my God, you were amazing, this made my life so much easier, or this is such an amazing product, X, Y, and Z. That right there is a win. That's a win by itself because that's something that you did, you created that changed what someone else experience was.
I just wanted to add in like two things also for like with this discussion. One of the things that I would say has helped me was definitely going from like, and I've talked about it like towards the end of like latter part of last year, but like that concept of who, not how, you know, like understanding like that it's okay to ask for help or you don't know like everything, but not only that, because I do feel that like a lot of us have cross that bridge, but also going, okay, so who can help me? Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it goes back to the idea of like having community and having people like a tribe that can actually like help you because you never know. Like just literally sending off like a few emails for me was able to help me move my business forward, especially since towards the end I decided that I wanted to shift the way that my business was going and like again like go more artist focused and seeing like friends or even like like businesses mentor like stuff like that being able to assist me and even to the part of being able to connect with other businesses that did marketplaces because I've never done it before and younger me, just as you were speaking of before, like younger me would have been like, "Ah, that's fine, I'll do it by myself. I don't have to." But then I was like, girl, no, like this is a waste of my time. Like, why reinvent the wheel when I could literally ask someone else?
Yeah.
Be respectful to like let them know that we're not in, you know, the like we're in similar verticals, but like I have like specific questions, you know, and being caring about like their time. And yeah, like I just also want to make sure, and this is something that we've really learned. Okay, I will. No, I think I could speak for both of us, but let me know if I can't. But that one of the things that we really did learn over the years of doing so many of like conversing with like people and like whether it's business or you know like whatever the matter is that you do want to be part of the conversation even when you're not there. And you've said it before too, where it like that really is one of the goals where someone could be like, oh, I already know this business, you know, like X, Y, and Z. And I feel like that also goes with being consistent in your brand messaging, you know? So, and at least like making as many people as you can know what your vision is, even if it's not the cleanest and you're still finding the product market fit, but like being able to still be in conversations and in rooms that you're not physically in. So
Yeah.
that's always a bonus.
And no, and I definitely 100% agree with that. And I'll probably say, like, the last thing I probably would say is definitely the biggest thing that you could ever did, and like I said, if I would have known this almost over 10 years ago, probably would be completely different right now,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact of sometimes we want to do it all ourselves, and sometimes that seems like the best way and the easiest way. But let me tell you, the amount of
Yeah.
time that I would have saved, the amount of months I would have saved just having someone else do what I was trying to learn. Not only did I have to try and learn it, but then after I learned it, I still had to do it. The amount of time that took
Yeah.
literally would be game changer. So the one thing I will definitely say is the best type of advice is don't try to do it all. Do
Yeah.
not. There are a lot of resources, there are a lot of tools. We even have a past video that we went over some of the resources, but there are a lot of resources, there are a lot of tools. That's why community is great because community can also help you refer other people that can do what you need to be done so that you can focus on your business. You can focus on your brand. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to have a message. You just have to be clear in what your why is, what your purpose is, and that's it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
try to do it all because honestly, that's what takes the most time. And if you actually if you actually target what you want to do and you focus on your expertise and get the people who know what they're doing to do that, you could be so much further along because you're not spending time trying to do everything. It also creates burnout. It creates being
Yeah.
exhausted, overwhelmed, and it gets to the point where you're too physically tired to do it because you're trying to do everything.
And I also feel like that's definitely one of those things where you just have to. It sucks because I do think like you have to go through it to understand it, but I hope that like next generations coming up can actually understand that a lot sooner because I do think that that's like a 20-year-old game where you're like, it's fine, I'm all bad by myself, like, and all of this stuff. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like, honestly, like, there's a whole like a mountain communities that are willing to help you. You just have to find the right one
And
and go from there.
exactly.
Like,
And when I tell you, I felt like I should have probably had like a recording of myself and just kept replaying it. The amount of clients last year that I literally had, I was like, listen, I understand you want to do it. However, let's break it down. The amount of time it's going to take you to learn this and then to do it. This
right.
is how much money you're losing because you're not actually being able to do what you do. You're not actually
Mm-hmm.
being able to work on your product, your business, your expertise because you're spending time trying to learn this. And it's not until you really break it down, you're like, wow. I could just I could pay like a quarter of that and then
Mm-hmm.
I could not and I could have that time and that money. Yeah, okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
completely different when you look at that mindset because I feel like a lot of people, even people who are like perfectionists and people who are like, they want to have more control over it, the key is you have to think about what's really important, where you're trying to do with your business, where you're trying to go, and you break it down in that way. Once you start looking at it like that, you're going to open your mind. So sometimes you have to be experienced, but I always tell people, I'm like, listen, I'm telling you this so you don't have to go through it because there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
us that already went through it. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need to go through it. Been there, done that. I'm trying to help you out so you can get a few extra years to get to, where you need to be.
And I feel like at some point we're definitely gonna have to do like a part two of this, but because I feel like the amount of things that we've learned along the way, whew, vast, and are still continuing to. So yeah, we'll probably do this again later during the year. But as we close out this conversation, obviously we're reminded that clearly success looks different for everyone. And also there's still some parts where we can weave everything in. So if this conversation encouraged you to reflect on your own definition of success, like this video, subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss what's next. And while you're here, let us know in the comments what you value most about building, like when it comes to building towards success. And until next time, keep building, keep growing, and stay inspired. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.